Welcome to Dumpster Diving, where we look at something horrible from the past. Today, Airwolf. The show begins with the guys doing their Airwolf thing, which consists of them flying around in their super-powered helicopter. They're following an airplane, though it's never explained why, or if this is a US airplane or from another country. The pilots are Barry Van Dyke, which sounds like a name made up by Saturday Night Live, who plays St. John Hawk, so no improvement on the name, and Mike. St. John instructs Mike to contact Joe and make sure their digital modem is hooked up before they send the data. The modem boots up, and we might as well hear,
"You've got mail,"
for all the horrible beeps it makes. The message going across the screen are so clearly text superimposed on a picture of a computer screen that it makes me long for the groundbreaking graphics of the Scorpion King. They fly too close to the base and get spotted. Just then, Mom picks up the phone and they get kicked off the internet. They use their turbojets and haul ass out of there. Joe is alone in the hangar and we see a mysterious figure approach one of her planes. Unfortunately for him, he falls for the old wrench on a plane pedal trick and it clanks on the ground. Then he falls and his hand slides into a rat trap. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out Mr. Bean is robbing them. This rat trap must have some sort of paralytic on it because it pins the guy to the floor and Joe subdues him. We get a look at his face and holy shit, it's Jason Priestley! Before he can call out to Brenda for help, we go to commercial. We transition to a mob boss packing up and leaving his house. It seems he's retiring to Mexico and wants his grandson to join the family business. Hard cut to outside of what's supposed to be a courthouse, but looks more like one of those trailers you see on a construction site. The judge has sentenced him to camping with the Airwolf crew for the weekend, and Priestley says he'd rather be in jail. He's obviously watched my Punky Brewster episode, which you can also right here. We go back to the mob boss, and he opens a briefcase full of Monopoly money that he's rigged with a bomb. It's then that we learn that Priestley is the grandson he's after. While the mob boss is sleeping, his henchmen discuss their plan to kidnap his grandson and ransom him back to the old man. They're doing this about 3 feet away from him. I know he's sleeping, but they're in a mansion. Pick another room. Only Mike and Joe are going on the camping trip because they didn't negotiate the no location shooting in their contracts that Van Dyke and Jason did. Joe says to Jason, "You sure you won't join us?" To which he responds,
"What, me in the woods with those hoods? No."
So apparently the KKK has infiltrated the woods. Mike introduces the kids. There's Carlos, Dwayne, who's as impolite as someone with a thick Canadian accent can be.
Hey guys, how you doing?
It's a joke, man. I don't have to be here, you know.
Lee, the girl, which is her only character trait, and Jason Priestley. The mob has somehow tracked them to their airfield, but wait outside. The kids are made to empty out their pockets, and it's like a scene from a comedy. There's a little money, cigarettes, brass knuckles, zigzags, switchblades. The mob guys watch them all get into the helicopter and fly away instead of doing anything. It doesn't matter though, because somehow, again with no explanation, the mob guys know exactly where they're going. And it's doubly lucky because the old mob boss happens to have a cabin in the very area they're hiking. We go back to the kids and they're not doing well. They're exhausted and want to stop. Mike tells them they need to get shelter for the night from the bears that live up there. One of the guys calls out, "Hello, bears!" And when there's no answer, declares that there must be no bears present. Apparently someone has watched one too many episodes of Winnie the Pooh. They camp and start to eat something that resembles cat food. Lee discovers that she's out of water, but says she didn't drink it. Priestley blames Dwayne, but Dwayne throws that shit right back at him. Lee confirms that Priestley lost his canteen this morning, and Mike starts to tell him how irresponsible that is. Mike declares that it's time for them to go to sleep, and Priestley says,
Well, I ain't bunking with the beaner.
So I guess he's pretty lucky that Carlos didn't bring that switchblade after all. In the tent, Priestley complains to Dwayne that he told on him, apparently conveniently forgetting that he was the one that turned rat first. Priestley then tells him that he doesn't need to hang around for this, and apparently runs off. In the female tent, Joe and Lee are having girl talk. Lee asks Joe if Mike is her boyfriend, which she laughs off. She then asks Joe if Mike has a girlfriend, to which Joe responds, "Take a number." Given her age, though, I'm guessing that number would be 10 to 20 years. Dwayne then informs Mike that Priestley has run off and Mike goes to look for him. Mike finds him in the woods and gives him a long speech about learning from a mentor. Given the lighting, though, It sounds more like a gay proposition.
Then I met this old World War II pilot who took me under the wing, set me straight. He taught me to fly in more ways than one. You know what I mean?
The next day, Lee attempts to cross a bridge while reciting the worst spoken word poem ever.
Scared. I'm not scared. Oh God, I'm scared.
All the kids express joy that they made it, and Mike says he doesn't see any quitters around here, so apparently the writers were not allowed on set. The mob guys finally show up and shoot at Mike. He falls down the side of the mountain and one of them goes to make sure he's dead. Mike gets the drop on him and murders him by throwing him off the cliff. The other mobster then forces Joe and Priestley into his Jeep and drives off to the mob boss. Mike climbs back up the side of the cliff. He's been shot in the leg and they head to the radio room to call the Airwolf crew. So finally, after all that, we actually start to Airwolf and they head over to rescue them. In the mob boss's cabin, he threatens the underling who's trying to blackmail him. Joe kicks at the gun and gets it away from him. Priestley gets his hands on the gun. Oh God, that face. And his grandfather urges him to kill the man. But Priestley can't, and so the second in command takes the gun and kills him. He then turns the gun on the rest of them. He's angry that the mob boss was going to put Priestley in charge instead of him, and he grabs that briefcase full of cash that the mob boss has. Airwolf has arrived now, and they follow the man as he runs off with the money. They fire a warning shot at his briefcase, but ignite the bomb, killing him. This is easily the best part of the show. The show ends with Priestley helping out at the airfield, and now committed to changing his ways. I can only assume that after this he gets a huge inheritance from his mob boss grandfather, which allows him to move to Beverly Hills. Thanks for watching this episode of Dumpster Diving. Please come back every Thursday for more episodes, every Tuesday for deleted chapters from famous novels. Give us a like, subscribe to this channel, hit that little bell icon, check the description for our social media handles and other websites of interest. Thank you so much again for watching. See you next time.